All right, let's look in your Tradition of Excellence book at page 23. We're going to begin with number 80, going up or down. So we're going to go through and finger and count our way through this. So first thing we have to look at is the key signature. So for C instruments, flutes, trombones, and bells and tuba, we have B flat, finger B flat, and then E flat, finger E flat, but our A's are natural. Second position, second valve, flute, 2 fingers, no pinky or G key. For the B flat instruments, the clarinets and trumpets, there's nothing in your key signature. Every note is natural, so our B's are second valve or middle finger. For our saxophones, we have an F sharp, middle finger, and French horn, you have B flat. So let's finger and say the note names on number 80. I'll say the counts, you say the note names. Here we go, fingering and saying. Ready? Now. 1 hold 2, 3 hold 4, 1 hold 2, 3 hold 4, 1, 2, 3 hold 4, 1 hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, 1, 2, 3 hold 4, 1, 2, 3 hold 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 hold 2, hold 3, rest. All right, now play with me. Look at that key signature one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, begin now. Now, some of you may have been going lower when I was going higher, but the note names would have been the same. So let's rewind that and go over that again. I want to spend a couple of times going through that until we're really smooth going from one note to the other and we're sure what fingering or position belongs to each note on that line, especially our 2 newer notes that are given in the 3rd and 4th measures. So let's check through that. Make sure we're fingering them correctly and play along with the video. All right, now let's take a look at number 81 just by accident. Now, there's for clarinets and saxes something a little special in the 2nd measure. We have a B natural going to a B flat back to a B natural for clarinets, and for saxes we have F sharp going to F natural going to F sharp. And we've learned before that when we go between those notes that we use a chromatic fingering instead of flip-flopping back and forth between your middle and 1st finger. So on the 2nd measure for clarinets you would have a C, and then we'll use our chromatic B natural, which is our 1st finger and the sliver key, and then B flat you lift the sliver key, and then B natural you put that sliver key back down again. For saxes it's G, F with the F sharp key added with your knuckle, and then to F by lifting the F sharp knuckle key and then adding it back for F sharp. And that's how we'll do the 2nd measure. That keeps from getting that extra note in there. That also repeats again in the next to last measure. So we want to practice doing that together. So let's all say and finger that 2nd measure. Here's the 2nd measure. Say and finger with me. Name, name, chromatic, name, name, name. All right, so now let's all say the note names and finger together. First thing we have to look at here is the key signature. So for our C instruments, which are the flutes, trombones, tubas, and bells, we have a B flat, so finger B flat for me. Then we have E flat, finger the E flat, and that's it. So our A's are natural, so let's finger A natural. Right here in 2nd position, 2nd valve, 2 fingers for flutes. Now for clarinets and trumpets, which are B flat instruments, there's nothing in your key. So it's all 2nd valve, middle finger, B naturals, unless it's marked by an accidental. Saxophones, you have an F sharp, French horn, you have a B flat. So let's say the note names and finger this time. Ready? Here we go. Say note names. Ready? Now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Note names. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch the accidental. 1, 2, 3. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Rest. So you should have been saying the note names while I was playing, fingering through and saying the counts. Now you can repeat that back and finger through that several times until we have the fingerings down smooth. Now once you have that, then start the video again and let's play it together. Here we go, playing number 81 together. 1, 2, playing now. You can back that video up and play that with me several times. Clarinets and saxes, make sure you're working on that second measure, getting those chromatic fingerings down. Now let's look at number 82, Sight Reading Challenge, theme from Orpheus and the Underworld by Offenbach. Now, the problem we tend to have most times with this piece is the first ending. And it's not as hard as it seems to be. We've already had our B-flat concert scale. We've already had a test on it. So we know the B-flat concert scale. So if we look at that first ending, once it goes up, for those of you that your part jumps up, all it is the B-flat scale coming down. So we have bum, 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 bum. And that takes you back to the beginning. So if you'll take that and just practice that first ending first before you look at the rest of the piece and just work that out. Finger it with me. First ending. Now. Finger it with me again. Say the note names. Make sure you're in the right key. Finger and say the first ending again. Ready? Now. And that took you back to the beginning. So let's finger and count this all the way through. First thing we have to do before we can finger and count is look at our key signature. So for our C instruments, flutes, trombone, tuba, and bells, we have B flat. Finger that B flat for me. We have E flat. And we don't have anything else, so our A's are natural. In second position, second valve, thumb 1, 2 for flutes. For clarinets and trumpets, our B-flat instruments, we have nothing in the key. Every note is natural. For saxophones, you have an F sharp, middle finger, and French horns, we have a B-flat. So, this time through, I want you to say the counts out loud with me while we finger the notes. Let's finger and say the counting. Notice there's 2 beats in every measure because we're in 2/4 time. So let's finger and count. Ready? Finger and count with me. Ready? Now. 1, hold, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, hold 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and second ending now 2. Alright, now that we fingered through it, the way I would practice this is take it in sections. We already looked at the first ending, so I would do it in 3 measure sections. I would say and finger the first three measures. 1 whole 2, 1 and 2, and 1, 2, until I've got that where I don't even have to look at it. 1 whole 2, 1 and 2, and 1, 2, and then play it. And do that several times. Then look at the next three measures. We have 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 1 and 2, and, okay. We'll say and finger it again. Ready? This is the 4th, 5th, and 6th measures. Ready? Now, 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 1 and 2, and we're done. Now play that. Ready? And. And this is how I would practice this. I would do these little bitty bites before I ever try to put it together. We've already done the first ending, but we can do it again. Finger with me. Ready? Now. 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and it just feels funny, so I'm going to go back to the first note. So finger with me while I play. Now. Okay, so now we finger through everything except the second ending. So let's count and finger the second ending. Ready? Now. 1 and 2, and 1, 2. And I would do that until I don't have to look at it, and then play it. Then do it again. Now I feel like I'm ready to play through the whole piece. So that's the best way to learn a new piece, is take it in small parts. Don't try to do it all at once. Then all you do is get frustrated and it's really hard. So now let's put it together. So this time, play with me. I'm not going to go full speed. I'm going to go slower. So play with me at this tempo, then we'll speed it up and do it again. Here we go at a slower tempo. 1 and 2 and ready now. Okay, and do that several times. Once that's smooth and even, then we'll play it a little faster. So you can finger with me when I'm playing it faster, then you can rewind and then play it with me. But I'm going to do it a little faster this time. Try fingering with me the first time, fingering and counting. 1 and 2 and ready now. Alright, now you can rewind that and do that as many times as needed until you can get that worked out where it's nice and smooth. Now let's take a look at number 83. This is your concert B-flat major scale with arpeggio and chords. We've done this before. We've had a test over concert B-flat, so I'm not going to spend much time on this. The biggest thing we've got to look at here is the key signature. So let's make sure we are looking at the key signature. For C instruments, we have B-flats and E-flats. No A, so it's A natural. For B-flat instruments, everything is natural. And for saxophones, an F sharp. For French horns, you have a B-flat. So I'm going to play through this, and I want you to play with me using those correct notes. You can say the note names and finger the first time, rewind the video, and then play it the second time. Here we go. Say and finger the first time, rewind, and play along. 1, 2, here we go now. So you can play through that. If you have divided notes, pick the top notes once, pick the bottom notes once, play through it several times with me, and get that where it's nice and even. Okay, now let's look at number 84, Crescent Moon Rising, a Chinese folk song. First thing we have to look at before we do anything is the key signature. So C instruments, flutes, trombone, tuba, and bells. We have B flat, so finger B flat, and an E flat in our key, and that's all. So our A's are natural in second position, second valve, 1, 2 fingers. For clarinets and trumpets, our B flat instruments, we don't have anything in our key, so we're using second valve, middle finger for B naturals. Saxes, you have an F sharp. Horns, you have B flat. So if we look at this piece, even before we play it, the first 2 measures and the 5th and 6th measures are exactly the same. Then the 3rd measure is exactly the same as the 1st measure. So we can break this up into little small parts, and it makes it very easy to prepare this piece. So what I'm going to do right now is we're just going to look at the first 2 measures only and finger it, say the counts, and finger with me. Ready? Saying the counts and fingering the first 2 measures. Ready? Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, hold 4. Now, let's do that again. Say and finger while I play. Say finger. Now. All right. This time, play with me. First 2 measures. Ready? Now. Let's do that one more time. Playing the first 2 measures. Here we go. Now. Alright, so now we've practiced the first 2 measures, the 4th and 5th measure, and the 3rd measure. So let's look at the 3rd and 4th measure now. Finger and count. Ready? Finger count. Now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and half note, half note. Finger and count with me while I play. Measure 3 and 4. Ready? Begin. Alright, play that with me. Ready? Measure 3 and 4. Playing. 2. Begin. Now. Now, we don't need to do 5 and 6 because we already did that. That's the first 2 measures. So let's look at the last 2 measures. Let's finger and count the last 2 measures together. Ready? Here we go. Finger count now. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and whole note gets 4 counts. All right, finger and count while I play. 2, here we go now. All right, you play with me. Last 2 measures. Horns are up. 1, 2, last 2. Now. Now, you can take some time and go through these measures in bites without the recording, or rewind the recording and practice them in pieces. Now I'm going to play all the way through number 84. You can finger with me and say the counts as I go all the way through. Finger and count. 1, 2, 84. Now. Now you can rewind that back and play along with the video, or say and finger through it until you have it where you're comfortable with it. Okay, now we're looking at number 85, Skill Builder. This is your test for this week. All this are pieces of your B-flat concert scale. If you'll notice, it only really uses the top 4 notes of that scale. We only have 4 notes in the whole piece. So, yeah, only 4 notes. So we want to take this in little sections. So let's look at the first 2 measures. Let's finger and say the first 2 measures. Ready? Look at the key signature. C instruments, B flats and E flats. A's are natural. B flat instruments, B naturals, no flats or sharps. Saxophones, F sharp. French horn, you have a B flat. So let's count. I will count. You will say the note names for the first 2 measures. Here we go. Ready? Names. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Make sure C instruments we're doing A natural. Make sure we're doing B naturals for B flat instruments. Make sure we're doing F sharps for E flat instruments. Make sure your E is natural in the French horn. So one more time, let's say the note names and finger the first 2 measures. Ready? Now, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Let's play those first 2 measures. Ready? 1 and ready now. And then we'll play it again. Let's do it a little bit faster. Ready? 1 and 2 and. All right, now that we have those 2 measures, let's look at this 3rd and 4th measure. Let's say the note names and finger, 3rd and 4th measure. Ready? Say the names. Name, 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 name. Watch that key signature. Say and finger again while I play. Now. Let's play that together. Just the 3rd and 4th measure. Ready and play. And. And we want to do that several times until we basically don't even have to look at it. So once we have those 4 measures, let's put those 4 measures together. Measure 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this time we're going to finger and say the note names of the first 4 measures. Here we go. Fingering and saying. Ready? And. Name, 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 hold. Now play that with me, just the first 4 measures. Ready, and play, and. Okay, now we have half of it worked out. Now let's look at the second half. After the half note at the 5th measure. Let's look at the 5th and 6th measures. Let's say in finger. Ready? Watch your key signature. Make sure we're starting on A natural for C instruments, B natural for B flat instruments, F sharp for saxes, E natural for horns. Let's say and finger the 5th and 6th. Ready? Now. Name, 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 name. Say and finger while I play. Ready? Now. All right, play that with me. Ready? And go. And. And keep repeating that until you don't even have to look at it. Now let's look at the last 2 measures. Notice the last 2 measures in measure 3 and 4 are exactly the same. So let's say the note names and finger while I play. Ready? Last 2 measures. Say and finger. Now. Play those last 2 measures with me. Ready? Begin. Now let's say and finger the last 4 measures, starting after the first half note. Say and finger with me while I play. Ready? And now. Now play those last 4 measures with me. Ready? Begin now. to go all the way through the piece. So we've set and fingered each group of 2 and then 4s, 2 then 4s. So now I'm going to play all the way through. The first time I play it, I want you to finger and say the note names. Here we go. I'm playing, you're fingering and saying, all the way through 85. Ready, and go. Now. All right, now you can rewind the video and play with that as many times as you need to until you have every note worked out on that. I realize there's a repeat sign at the end, but we're not going to do the repeat just for the sake of time. When you're practicing, you're welcome to. But for your test, when you play that on Flipgrid on Thursday or Friday, you will not repeat. Now, this test will become available in your Flipgrid on Wednesday at 3 p.m. You can't do it before Wednesday at 3 p.m. And it has to be completed by 3:30 on Friday. So this test is number 85. It's on page 23 of your Tradition of Excellence book. Just like last week, I told you that if you told me something before you played, that I would give you 5 points of extra credit. That's not any different this week. If you'll tell me the name of the team on this baseball that I'm holding up, I'll give you 5 points of extra credit on your test. But you have to say it at the beginning of your Flipgrid before you play. Hope everybody has a great week and keep practicing.